Do you want to create new habits that will lead to a healthier and happier life? In today's episode, we're going to be flipping the script and talking about building cycles. In our last episode, we discussed how to break unhealthy cycles that you may have in your life. And now we're going to take it one step further, discussing how to create new positive cycles in your life. I'll be sharing my personal experience on how I've built some healthy cycles into different routines in my life, but more importantly, how you can too. So buckle up and get ready to learn how to build a life filled with positivity and growth. Hi, I'm Jenna and I'm always rambling. Just ask my husband. I have a great family and a pretty cool life, but I'm a recovered alcoholic. That's hard to say, but my goal is to inspire and educate to help others hopefully find life beyond an addiction. I'm all things: sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Getting healthy, momming, and politics. Get offended easily? You better stop listening. There is no point in wasting that Botox by stressing yourself out listening to a podcast. Welcome to Ramblings of an Addict with Jenna Dix. Today's episode brought to you by products and services that I am thoroughly addicted to. Are you feeling a bit exposed and vulnerable in this crazy world? Do you want to have the power to fight back against any legal issue that comes your way? Well, let me tell you about my friend Susan Taple, independent associate with LegalShield. LegalShield is like your own personal superhero, ready to swoop in and save the day whenever you need legal help. Whether it's a traffic ticket, a contract dispute, or even identity theft, LegalShield has got your back. With LegalShield, you'll have access to a team of experienced lawyers who can help you navigate the legal system and protect your rights. Get the peace of mind you deserve today by contacting Susan Taple with LegalShield. Legal help made simple. Check the show notes for more information. Welcome to today's episode. I'm so excited to have you here. And for those of you in Minnesota, it is like kind of a decently warm week, which, hey, it's the first week of spring. I think we deserve it. Let's just cross our fingers and pray that it continues to trend this way versus snow, right? Because we all know here in the Midwest that snow can come like all the way through May. I'm pretty sure up in like the northern part of Minnesota, I believe they've had it in like June. So we're in March. I understand. I mean, we might still have a couple more months of winter, but if it keeps trending warmer, your girl here will not be too upset. But as we dive into today's episode, I wanted to thank you for popping in. Make sure if you have yet to share this podcast with anyone in your tribe to do so. You know, a great way to do it is to share it on your story on Instagram or on Facebook. I know whenever I find a podcast that I really love, because your girl here, of course, is a podcast junkie herself. I truthfully do feel I'm addicted to podcasts, but there's nothing wrong with that. I'm pretty positive on that. But a great way that I always share them is on my stories, and friends will reach out and be like, oh, that looks cool. What's that about? So make sure if you have yet to share this podcast with somebody you love and care about, please do so. Not only to help them out in their lives, but let's get the word out about this podcast, because hopefully you're finding value in it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening. So let's share that wealth with other people. And of course, I appreciate any shares that you do. All right. So last episode, we talked about how to get rid of unhealthy cycles that you may have in your life, right? Today is kind of the second half to that. But here's the deal. You don't have to listen to them in like a 1-2 order. If you really didn't want to, you don't have to listen to the last one at all. I do recommend pairing them because they kind of complement each other. It's kind of like peanut butter and jelly. You can totally eat either by themselves, but they just go together really nicely. So today we're going to talk about the flip side. Like I said, building cycles. And we're going to specifically be talking about why it's important to build healthy cycles into your life, what some of the top cycles are that people really focus on integrating into their lives and their routines. We're going to talk about the top obstacles people face when they decide, I'm going to pull the trigger. I want to build some healthy cycles in my life. What might happen? What obstacles could stand in your way potentially? And then finally, we're going to talk about some different tips that I have learned not only as a wellness coach. I've been a coach for over a decade at this point. I've had some experience in my own career working with this with my clients, but in addition, definitely have worked to build healthy cycles in my own life, and I've learned some tips and tricks along the way doing that as well. So we are not going to waste any time. Let's kick this off. So as promised, the why. Why is it important to build healthy cycles into your life? Well, healthy cycles are important to us because if you're trying to build a cycle, a routine, a habit that's healthier, it makes sense, right? It's going to help you promote overall well-being in your life. And we all need that. I think especially since COVID and the pandemic, obviously, I think many of us that listen to this podcast are going to agree that the pandemic was definitely exaggerated to a point, but nonetheless, we all saw wellness and the value it truly does have. So, building a healthy cycle kind of makes sense. You shouldn't have to say it, but McDonald's coffee, it has it smacked right on there, caution hot. Well, duh. Sometimes we just need the odd dumb moments. Healthy cycles will help promote a life with more well-being. The second thing is if you create healthier cycles in your life, often it's going to help create more productivity in a variety of different areas, right? So if you're creating a cycle about exercise, you're creating higher productivity in your exercise routines. If you're creating, a healthy cycle regarding journaling or mental health or any of those things, you're creating a productive system to keep yourself on track for success. The third why is if you're working to put healthier cycles in play, quite often there is a direct link with lower stress levels. And I'm pretty sure in today's day and age, we all could use a little less stress. The fourth reason, it increases happiness, which, that kind of goes hand in hand with the less stress, right? If you have less stress, you're going to feel lighter. You're going to feel more joy. You're going to feel more happiness. And the final one is it adds more structure and stability to your life. You kind of know what's going to happen. You know what's going on. You know what's part of your routine. And I know as a mom myself, this is in all of the parenting books. If you want happy, healthy children, give them stability, give them structure, give them routine. But yet as adults, we're over here, I'm just going to wing it every day. No. I'm very type A. So this gives me a panic attack feel. Not truthfully, but it truly is important for us as adults to also have structure and stability and routine, and building healthy cycles helps you do that. So, all right, we understand, a little bit more about why it's important to have healthy cycles. What are some top healthy cycles people try to build into their lives and into their routines? So I looked up the top 10. And first being exercise, which being somebody that's been in the wellness field for years, I taught group fitness classes for years as well. This doesn't surprise me. Exercise is definitely one that I think almost every person on the planet has said at least once, if not hundreds and hundreds of times, right? I need to get in better habit with my exercise. The second one is better sleep routines. Third is healthy nutrition, trying to eat better. The fourth is being more productive, which, hey, any cycle is going to help you be more productive, but there are some specific cycles that are focused on being more productive as a whole. Not just, I want to be more productive about my exercise. No, I want to be more productive and get more done, period, plain and simple, because I'm slacking. The fifth one is learning, creating cycles to start to be a better learner, to improve in life. I think it's important to be lifelong learners. So seeing that this is one of the top cycles, I'm a nerd, and this really excited me. The sixth one, relaxation. Less stress. The seventh, financial stability. The eighth is social connection, which, hey, if this is one you're trying to work on, make sure you go back and listen to my podcast about building your tribes. The ninth, giving back. And the 10th is reflection / self, kind of like that self-reflection, that meditation type of deal where you're really just making sure, there's that focus on how things are going. All right. So once you've come to a place where you're like, okay, Jenna, I agree. I do need better habits. I need better cycles in my life. Because end of the day, I think a lot of people think, okay, yes, I need better habits. Those words almost go together, the same deal, right? It's not just a habit. You want to create a cycle. So it's almost like the hamster wheel. It just keeps going, right? You don't want these habits just to fall off. And if you create it in more of the mentality of, I am making a cycle, you're often going to be more successful. All right. So you've said, okay, I want to create some cycles. Whether it's any one of those top 10 categories or you have another one in mind. What are the top things that could potentially pop up and hold you back from hitting success in creating this cycle? First and foremost, it's lack of motivation. And this one is something that I've heard, oh my word, millions of times. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but a lot of times, I'm just not motivated. Or, coach, where do you find all your motivation? It's not a pixie dust. It's not a pill. It's not something magical, right? It is literally something within. The second thing is lack of knowledge or lack of skills. If you don't have the info you need in order to create this cycle, you are going to struggle. The third is if your emotional or your mental health is just not at where it needs to be. Sometimes this one can be a little bit of a difficult one because you're thinking, okay, I want to create these better cycles that I think could help me with my mental and emotional health, but we're starting at the wrong point. Sometimes it will require trial and correction, but if we're not picking the best first domino, you're almost starting, you're looking at like the 7th domino in, your success is less likely. The next struggle that a lot of people do come across if they're trying to build a healthy habit or a healthy cycle is poor time management. I think we've all been there, right? There's definitely things in my life I suck at managing my time with. And then other things I'm like, oh, I got this. And I'm blessed with the personality type that's pretty good at time management. I know not everyone is like that. My husband being one of them, and he fully admits that. But time management can definitely be something that holds you back, especially if procrastination is something that you struggle with. The next thing would be lack of support. And we kind of talked about that last episode, right? Lack of support, not having people in your corner can feel not only like, oh, I am coming up against this all by myself. This is really defeating feeling. It's really frustrating. But having that alone feeling is just so hard to deal with in itself. And then you're trying to conquer something, creating a new habit, creating this cycle all by yourself. That's difficult. Absolutely a very valid obstacle. And the next one would be financial constraints. So if you don't have the financial resources to create a new habit or a new cycle, it can be more difficult sometimes. I'm not saying impossible. Like I've worked with some people that, I can't eat healthy because I don't have the money to buy the healthy food. Yeah, it might be more difficult, but it's 1000% possible, right? It just might require a little extra brain power. All right. So like I was saying, I wanted to dive into those specifics of, what are those obstacles? And I said this last episode as well. Why are you telling us about what we might come across before we even really get into the tips or anything like that? Well, so you know what might come down the pipeline. It is so important to do this step in anything you're doing in life. Make sure, no matter what you're trying to accomplish or what your next step is, think about, or at least take a moment to reflect on, okay, what could potentially go wrong? What could potentially happen? Because then you can start to have ulterior plans, right? I need a plan B, I need a plan C, just in case. Because so often we're quick to pull the trigger and say, I'm doing this, and there's no backup. And if we run into an obstacle, we quit. And then we sit and wonder, why do I keep failing at everything? Well, because you need to put some brain power into thinking, how will I conquer any obstacle that does happen to pop up? I talk with my clients and I'm like, okay, you want to do X, Y, Z? Awesome. What could possibly happen and hold that up? Think about everything. Think about work. Think about your family. Think about, different activities you're involved in. Think about your mental space. Think about those different obstacles so you better can prepare yourself. All right. So now jumping into the tips. All right. So it is very important when you are working to set up a new cycle, a new habit, that you set it to be a very specific goal. So if you came to me and you're like, Jenna, I'm so excited. I'm creating a new healthy habit. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to root you on. I'm going to say, oh my goodness, that's so awesome. Tell me more. And some people might just stop there. I don't know. I'm going to exercise more. Maybe hit the treadmill a little bit, or I don't know, I'll do one of those Beachbody on demand things. I'm going to look at that person and say, you need to get more detailed. Because if you have more details, you are more likely to stick to this new habit you're trying to form. Get as detailed as you possibly can. If you want to try to, stick with that same exercise one. I want to exercise more. Awesome. I'm going to exercise 3 days a week, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. It's 7 a.m. for 30 minutes. And I'm going to do, the treadmill on Mondays and Fridays, and I'm going to lift weights on Wednesdays. Get detailed with it, incredibly specific. And you can do that with any of those things. Like, I will tell you one of mine. So financial stability is a big one for me. And when I was beginning to work on my goals with this, years and years ago, I came up with a plan that, every paycheck I get, 5% is going into this account, 5% is going into this account, 5% is going into this account. When I had Mac, when I got pregnant with McKenna, and 2% is going into this savings for her, and 5% is going into this school fund for her. Like, I literally sat down specifics, and I knew when I was paid, and I knew exactly what percentages were going to go where, because you need to have your goals specific. Because 1, it's going to keep you more accountable, and 2, you are going to know if you're achieving it or not. Telling yourself something like, I'm going to save more money, and then if I come to the end of the month and I'm like, well, I saved $5. Okay, yeah, I saved more money. I saved $5. But in a typical month where I should be saving, $1,000 based off of percentages, $5 sure is not much. You need specifics. The second tip I have for you is starting small. Whenever you're building any habit, I want you to remember that small steps truly do lead to big successes. I always used to tell clients when I was a group coach that I want you to think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident am I that I will achieve this goal? If you are not at least a 9, your step is too big right now. Because you need to set it so that, yes, I am consistently moving forward. But a baby step is still movement. And if you pack on, 10 baby steps within a 2-month period, that's a heck of a lot more movement than I set up 2 really big goals and I only hit one, right? You want to make the goals small. You want to start small because, number 1, you're more likely to hit it. And number 2, if you do hit it, you're going to start gaining confidence. And soon you will actually see, holy shit, my baby steps have grown in length, right? So your steps have actually gotten bigger because your confidence has grown. So see, there is a little bit of method to my madness over here. The next tip that I have for you is making sure that you are consistent. If you are setting a goal, you need to make sure that it's not a sporadic thing. Have it very consistent in your routines. If possible, try to make it daily, right? Just like we brush our teeth every day, it's a very consistent thing, right? If you try to tell yourself, okay, yeah, I'm going to start this new goal and I'm going to do it every Friday, it might happen. Depending on the personality, it might happen. But for a lot of people, remembering something every 7 days, good luck, right? Like they can't remember what they had for breakfast, let alone, oh yeah, I forgot. I said I was going to do that new goal every Friday. Try to create it as consistent as possible. If it's something that can't happen every single day, make sure you're setting a reminder in some way, shape, or form. And that goes with even if it is every day, especially if you're the type of person that's like, crap, I forgot again, right? Set a reminder. Or if you're a to-do list person, put it on your to-do list or put it in your planner, but create a way so that you visually or, auditorily like hear a reminder so that you can keep this consistency going and growing. The next tip I have, track your progress. Keep track of your progress by writing it down and, or maybe in an app, something so you can actually see what's happening. This not only is going to help your confidence grow because you're visually seeing it, it's going into your brain and you can retain it. But when you put a goal down, which you're going to have to write the goal if you're tracking your progress, right? Or that's the idea. When you write down your goal, you are over 40% more likely to hit it. So make sure you're tracking. And my next one, give yourself grace, right? And I think this comes with anything I'm ever going to say. There's a reason that I say, my company has the word grace in it. Life is hard. It is. And God knows that. And God tells us He has grace for us. We should have grace for ourselves as well. No one's perfect. If you try, and you can actually look in the mirror and be like, yeah, I fucking tried. I didn't just, be lazy. If you can say, I tried, and something just didn't go right, it's okay. Give yourself grace. The magic in that is you dust off your pants and you stand back up and you try again, right? That's why you have, like we talked about earlier, right? In that previous tip, you have a plan B, you have a plan C. You've thought about the obstacles. It's trial and correction. You get back up and you try again. No one says, oh, the cycle didn't happen with the first plan of action. She's done. He's done. No, you keep going. And my final tip is make sure you're celebrating your successes with this. If you are working on building a goal, building a cycle, building a new habit, and you are seeing traction, no matter how small, celebrate it. And make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to that. Write it down. Like when you're tracking your goals and saying, okay, I'm going to do this, and then you're tracking your progress on building this new cycle. As that progress is happening, make sure you're tracking. What are you doing to celebrate? It can be nerdy. I'm going to look in the mirror and be like, I'm awesome, right? I don't know how many adults actually do that. I make my daughter do it every once in a while. We'll be in the bathroom and I'm brushing her hair or whatever. And I'll say, repeat after mommy. I'm awesome. I'm beautiful. Just affirmations like that, right? We make our kids do it, sometimes do it ourselves. But, celebrations can go way beyond that. Like, I successfully created this new habit. I am going to go buy myself a new outfit, or I am going to go gift myself with a night out with my friends. However you want to do it, but make sure you're celebrating. As adults, we suck at this. We don't celebrate enough. And I don't know. And I'm guilty too. And I have to just keep telling myself, life is hard. It wasn't meant to be easy. But if we're not gifting ourselves the celebration when we can, that's kind of our own fault, right? So make sure you are celebrating. All right, I hope this was helpful. Building cycles isn't easy. Building a new habit is not easy. I know firsthand it's freaking possible. I've helped thousands of clients do this. I've done this myself. It's not easy. But like I said, I've created habits with cycles with some of the most difficult topics that I hate approaching because of just, like family trauma or something. But like finances, for example, were one that I didn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. It was almost like a PTSD thing. Like, don't bring it up to me. But I do. I do bring it up now. And I do have goals. And I do have healthy cycles, as I'm consistently still working on that mindset. But it's important to set those things up. You have to begin to work on a cycle. So, as we begin to wrap up here, I just want you to remember that it's important to remember that doing this, building these cycles, is going to take time. It's going to take a crap ton of patience from yourself. And it's going to take effort. Again, just like last episode, right? I said the blood, sweat, and tears. It's real. Yes, it's going to be difficult at points. Some cycles might be really easy and you'll grab on and they'll just be a success pretty darn fast. And then others, you will fail and you will fail and you will fail and you will fail. But the only true failure, as corny as this sounds, is if you say, I'm done. I'm not trying anymore. If you keep going, you will eventually land there, or you will find a new way to create that healthy cycle that works for you. So it's okay that we're going to have those mistakes. We're going to have setbacks along the way, but it's going to be about persistency and willingness to learn from what you're going through. You can truly establish and maintain a healthy cycle in your life. I promise you that. I want to thank you so much for tuning in into today's episode. I hope this was helpful. Make sure, if it was, let me know. Feel free to leave a review. I love reading those. And like I said at the beginning, make sure you share this. Quick, easy way is to snap a screenshot and put it on your story or share the link. I would definitely appreciate that as well. But help another friend. Building cycles, building healthy habits isn't easy. Let's work together to get those into our lives. Have a great day. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Ramblings of an Addict with Jenna Dix. Remember, if you are battling an addiction, reach out for help and support. There are many resources available to assist in your journey towards recovery. Surround yourself with a supportive community and never give up on the path towards a healthier and happier life. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and joining me on this journey. As you heard, I'm always rambling. But seriously, thank you for your support and make sure to subscribe and follow my channel. I can't wait to share more with you on the next episode. Until then, keep on rambling. If you have found this podcast helpful and want to dive deeper into personal growth and self-improvement, be sure to head over to my website, jennadix.com. You'll find a wealth of resources there. There is a little less drugs, sex, and rock and roll these days, but whether you're interested in getting healthy, information on momming or parenting, or politics, JennaDix.com has something for everyone. So, what are you waiting for? Head to JennaDix.com today and start your journey towards personal growth and self-awareness. See you there.